Before you all start leaving, we had to wait. After the blessing, this is the only time that we can sing non-religious songs. The whole of last night, while we were in Heritage, hinahanap ng staff there was one song in particular that Noy had been listening to over and over again, and I was told na was his favorite, and I think we spent 3 hours trying to research the song. It was originally done by Celeste Legaspi, but it was the Isa Segura version that Noy had liked so much. So I would like to thank my Cornerstone family because I had only called at 10 a.m. and inaral ni Jaya to be able to sing it for all of us right now and to make Noy happy. And before that though, I'm on the spot. It was her biggest hit, but she rewrote the lyrics actually. Gusto ko magpasalamat kay Moira because she rewrote the lyrics so that it could be dedicated to Noy, and I would like to thank both of them for the effort that they made to be here, to be able to sing for Noy and to sing for all of us. So I think Moira is ready, and I would like to thank also her husband because he's here right now to accompany her. So this is the only time you will hear this version. And again, Moira, salamat. I actually got my dream because I got to co-write with you. Salamat. And just to let all of you know that Noy loved music so much. And that's why this was very important to me to be able to do this for my brother. I would like to just request to everybody that we have to still respect social distancing. I was told to remind everybody to please, you have to still be, the minimum distance is 1 meter apart. Tama ba ako? 2, I'm sorry, mali ako. 2 meters apart. 2, tama ba ako? Yes, and maraming salamat sa lahat ng naghintay at pumila, pero kailangan po natin na maghiwalay ng espasyo. Sorry, and they're also figuring out the -1. And did we also bring is there a copy of the lyrics in an iPad?
That's it. That's my lyrics.
Your lyrics, but do we have one?
That's it. I'm good with lyrics.
No, so that they can play it in the back also.
They give me the lyrics. They have it. I'm sure they do. It's a screen.
Sa screen, because you will sorry, I should have thought of this earlier. I apologize please bear with us. The song is entitled Minsan Minahal Ay Ako. And again,
I think they're getting it ready also.
yes, and sana, I apologize dun sa mga the technicals that I did not specify earlier to have the lyrics ready. Normally, I am much more organized than this.
Lakas nyo lang yung volume para we can hear.
And I think also the reason earlier that there was a problem is that we should turn this off and yung kakanta should step aside from this.
Sorry, excuse me.
There. Sorry. And again, thank you very, very much sa lahat ng mga matyagang pumipila at rumerespeto po sa tamang distansya. I think now you understand why I had asked for the lyrics to be included, because it was his favorite song and it speaks so much about him na ano na lang yung konting pasakit kung katumbas ay ang pagmamahal. It's just like the sermon earlier nung sinabi ni Father na yung broken heart. And iyo sanang matandaan bago tuluyang lumisan na minsan ang minahal ay ako. We don't know why that was his favorite song, but now we understand na para sa kanya it was enough. Enough that there was a time that you all had chosen him and given him the greatest honor anybody could be given. And now, if they are ready, are we ready with the lyrics of Yes? So, ito yung papaulit ko lang po kasi napakaganda nung pagkagawa ni Moira when she rewrote the lyrics, because ito, na-shock tayong lahat with what happened. We all feel is gone too soon. Lahat ata ng Pilipino kasi na nagmahal sa kanya, konting-konti po sa inyo ang may alam kung ano talaga ang pinagdaanan niya. So ito yung ating way para ma-comfort ang mga sarili natin, because ngayon hindi na nga siya makakaranas pa ng sakit, hindi na siya mahihirapan pa, and nandun na nga siya sa mas maligayang lugar. And thank you, Moira, again for doing this. She did it actually in less than 10 minutes to rewrite. So it's only right that you get to see the beautiful lyrics that she was able to put para lalong mapaganda yung kanta at lalong maging angkop para kay Noy sa gabing ito. So, Moira, thank you. Jason, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. And I would like to say an advance thank you, because tomorrow, it was just so easy to call friends who were there from the very beginning. And actually also tomorrow, you have not seen him. I was able to shoot him before we cremated. So while they are singing, I will be able to share with all of you why we know he died a peaceful death. So tomorrow, after the Mass of Archbishop Sok, naghanda rin po kami ng short musical, and the ones who will be singing, well, as part of the Mass, maybe I should not say so that you can look forward to it, pero maraming salamat po. There's another Mass later at 8 p.m. But thank you to all of you who made time, and all of you who are continuing to line up. And from our family again, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga nagmahal at patuloy na minamahal ang aming kapatid. And just to make it clear for everybody, we know how difficult it is to come here. Hindi madali pong pumasok. Mahaba ang nilakad ninyo. Hindi magandang panahon, pero maraming salamat sa effort. Tomorrow, Manila Memorial will of course be open to everybody. And the Mass also, of course there is a limit to how many people can come in, but I think because Manila Memorial is a much larger place, and that is where the full military honors will be given to him, and that is where we will be able to say our final goodbyes. Doon po, kung gusto ninyo pong magpaalam sa kay Noy, doon po ay magiging sana mas madali para sa inyo, at maraming salamat ulit sa lahat po ng mga bumiyahe pa sa galing sa mga malalayang lugar para lang puntahan siya. Thank you, and there is another Mass at 8 p.m. and thank you again for the sacrifice you are making now to see him and to view. And under different circumstances, we would have brought him to Tarlac. And I would like to apologize doon sa mga taga-Tarlac na hindi po namin siya nadala. But I will be there on Tuesday dahil alam ko meron kayong hinanda para sa kanya. So, thank you again to all of you and good night. Thank you again, Moira. Thank you again to Jaya. And thank you to everybody in Ateneo for doing this for us. And thank you because you have made it so easy for our family, because we are still in so much shock. Father Manaling, thank you. And to the whole Jesuit community, he is a true-blooded Atenista from prep all the way until he finished college. And now I understand why. Kahit nag-away kayo sa RH, pero talagang you have been there for him when it truly mattered. Maraming salamat.
Father Sok, the Archbishop of Lingayen, Dagupan, and Bishop Ambo, dear fathers, nobody ever is prepared for death. Masakit mawalan ng magulang. What gave us comfort when we lost our dad was that our mom kept telling us, God was so generous. Dad was given a hero's death, the kind of death that would profoundly change the history of our nation. Nang nalaman namin that our mom had cancer and stage 4, we knew she fought hard, lumaban siya, maski handa na siya. Dahil alam niya na hindi pa kami handa. Pinagbigyan niya kami at pumayag siya na magpa-chemotherapy. She had told us that your dad was taken so suddenly from the 5 of you. I knew you needed the time, so I gave it my all. God gave us a little over a year, and we were able to say our goodbyes. Noy, sana kagaya nung nagdesisyon ka, natatakbo ka para maging presidente, na sinabi mo sa amin, tayong 5 lang yun sa loob ng van ni Kris noon. Napag-isipan mo na lahat, napagdasalan mo na. At sinabi mo na kahit na hindi ka namin tulungan o suportahan sa pagkampanya, tutuloy na niya at talagang yun ang palagay niyang dapat niyang gawin. But we were the first to be with you. We were the first to hear that. And we said, Noy, napagdesisyonan mo yan. Maski ayaw namin kumandidato ka. Tutulong kami sa kaya namin. Napangako ko kasi sa aming ina nung siya'y nagkasakit na hindi ako isang leader na katulad ng aming ama na naging katulad niya. Ang mapapangako ko lang sa kanya ay sisiguraduhin ko na kaming 5 ay parating magtutulungan. Si Noy, ayaw niya talaga na maging pabigat siya. Ayaw niya na kami nag-aalala. At ayaw niya na hindi kami nakakatulog ng dahil sa pag-iisip sa kanya. Tinupad niya yung pangako niya sa aming ama nung siya'y nakakulong sa Fort Laur sa Nueva Ecija. Naaalagaan niya ang aming ina at kaming 4 na tawag na nga ng karamihan, mga witches. Ngayon, nabutas na yung aming pagsasamahan. Nawala na yung gitna. Hindi na uli kami mambiging kompleto. Sinuwerte kami na naging mga anak kami ni Ninoy at ni Cory. Pero gusto naming magpasalamat sa mga nagmahal kay Noy. Kahit hindi niyo siya kapag-anak o kadugo. Si Noy ay pinili ng ating mahal na ama na mauna sa aming lahat, na makapiling uli ang aming mga magulang kasi siya ang nagpatuloy ng kanilang mga hindi natapos. To the man we were so blessed to have as our brother, habang buhay ka namin ipagmamalaki, pasasalamatan, hahanap-hanapin at mamahalin. Taus-puso po ang aming pasasalamat sa pamantasan ng Ateneo de Manila University na pinamumunuan ni Father Bobby. At sa inyong lahat, mga boss ni Noy, maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much for the nice comparison between Jose Rizal and Noy being scared, scarred, and sacred. We thank all our dear friends attending this Mass tonight. Let me also thank our previous Mass presiders, Archbishop Sok, Father Bert, Father Tito, Father June, Father Mark, Father Manoling, and Father Jet. And I also cannot let the evening pass without acknowledging the untiring assistance of Rapa Lopa, who together with Father Tito Caluwag organized this novena of masses. We thank the Zoom Cristans, lectors, and behind-the-scenes workers, and to all who have faithfully joined on Zoom or Facebook, maraming salamat po. After so many tearjerker tributes, I thought I'd keep this light. I'd like to share with you some of my happy memories of Kuya Noy. My first story happened way back in the 60s, years before Kris was born. I was 3 or 4 then, and Noy recalls that the two of us were being bullied by Ate and Pinky. He asked me to side with him, and he claims my reply was, "Iisipin ko pa." The next day, he asked my decision, and I supposedly said, "Dun na lang ako kila Ate at Pinky kasi girl ako." That is probably why he much preferred to spend time in our next-door neighbor's house, where there were 3 boys around his age who were way more fun to be with than his sisters. Somehow in our family, only Ballsy had the honor of being called Ate, and everyone else was just called by our nicknames. I only started calling Noy Kuya when he became president. It was the respectful way to address my brother president. For Kuya Noy, the older sibling takes seniority rights over the younger ones. Technically, he felt he could order Kris and me around, but it would be rare to find him disrespectful to Ate or Pinky. He also liked referring to us by names other than our real names. He called Ate beautiful, and Ate called him Puging in return. After Mom passed, Ate became known as Matri, short for matriarch. Pinky is Dobie, never mind what it's short for. I am Kwat, and Kris is Bunso. The other name I got from him started when I was in charge of ordering food after one All Saints Day visit to Manila Memorial Park. It was a late lunch, and everyone was really hungry. We were at a Chinese restaurant, and the 10-course meal started with 3 dim sum selections. As the lazy Susan turned around, he realized that the allocation was only 1 dumpling per person. Actually, 1 each lang nga, since I figured these are just starters, so we shouldn't get stuffed before the main courses come. But I never heard the end of it. From that day on, he would refer to me as Ilocoslovakian, a term he coined for someone kuripot. Kuya was a food lover, and treating people to a good meal was his way of showing appreciation. I remember when he was discharged from the hospital after his first confinement in December 2019. It was actually Christmas Eve. He wasn't prepared to go home until he was able to treat his doctors to a sumptuous lunch at Haishinlo. As his physical condition deteriorated, his taste buds were also affected. What used to be bland became salty, too salty. Ketchup became too sour. Many of his favorites didn't anymore taste as enjoyable as they used to. The only consistent taste was sweet. With his poor appetite that caused him to get thinner and thinner, it would be a major achievement if one of us could find something that he would really enjoy. When he would message us that he liked something we sent, it was a reason to cheer. Feeling namin ang saya, nakachamba. Once while having his dialysis session, Jeff, his aide, texted me to ask if I could buy him Belgian lace cookies from Cebu. I said I would find a distributor here in Manila. It took me 10 days to source, but when they did come, he had 3 pieces, and I felt like a winner since they were as satisfying as he remembered them to be. When he liked something, he had the tendency to hoard. In my mind, with such a small appetite, how can he even finish what he's asking us to buy for him? I later learned that he just liked to have a stash of treats for his doctors, nurses, or other visitors. Aside from food, Noy's other sources of joy were CDs and DVDs. He had a vast collection of music CDs, even when the norm now is just to stream. Who still uses a CD player anyway? He also has a collection of movies stored in a device, which effectively works like his own personal Netflix. Dodo was also a big DVD collector. When he gave me permission to dispose of his DVDs to declutter, I showed Kuya some of the titles we were giving away, and he was interested to sort through them. Some titles had to be played in an HD DVD player, so I sent him a machine too, which hadn't been used for at least 10 years. It started out running well, but as the movie was reaching its climax, the machine stalled and wouldn't turn on again. Sobrang bitin. Of course, every so often, he would remind me of my palpak antique bequeathals. Very recently, Nina and Joff had successfully convinced him to shift to digital subscriptions of magazines, as many publishers were discontinuing their hard copy issues. He always preferred physical books and magazines because he felt you absorb things better when read on paper. He was so grateful to Jiggy for getting even back issues of some of his favorite publications. Since June 24, so many messages received have made us feel truly loved. The love that can no longer be given to Noy is showered on us, his sisters. Thanks to my Kuya's selflessness, we are basking in the glow of his remarkable legacy. Thank you, Kuya Noy, for all your sacrifices, for your determination to forge a better life for every Filipino, and for being the best servant leader many of our countrymen failed to recognize. It's so admirable how you lived out the lines in St. Ignatius's prayer for generosity, when, and I quote, "To give and not to count the cost, to labor and ask not for reward, save that of knowing that I do your most holy will." While you were not expecting any rewards, I am so happy just imagining that you must have gotten a standing ovation as you entered heaven. Have fun catching up with mom and dad. They will most likely thank you for protecting your sisters at all times. But more importantly, they will surely congratulate and extol you for the life you lived. When you used to claim that you were mom and dad's favorite son, we would say, "No choice naman since you're the only son." Today, Maitri, Dobie, Kwat, and Bunso have to concede, favorite son ka talaga, and very rightly so. We love you, best bro. Thank you.
Noy was born a little over 2 years after me, the only boy in a family of 5 children. If he was not at our neighbor's house, where there were 3 boys around his age, Noy would usually play with Viel or me. I mostly remember our petty little fights from our childhood. Thank goodness Noy was forbidden by Dad to hit the girls, and because he outgrew me early on, this rule spared me from serious aches during bigger fights. As I started my family, Noy became a surrogate parent whenever Manola and I would take a break from work and go out of town. He would take the kids to the mall on the weekend and treat them to something on the condition they all stayed together. I recall one parenting trip he did where he brought Ballsys and my kids to Tarlac. Noy said all 4 never tired of asking him how much longer before they reached Tarlac all throughout the 2.5-hour trip. Noy got them some fast food they liked for their lunch. He asked Yoli to make some bacon and corned beef for his lunch. After freshening up a bit, he was ready to have his lunch. The 4 kids were almost done with theirs. Noy asked, "Nasaan ang bacon at corned beef ko?" "Tito Noy, kinain na namin din yung bacon at corned beef." It must have been the following night when Nina, my daughter, got too interested in the living room lamp bulb and held the bulb. Suddenly, someone was crying very loudly. Noy rushed her to the nearby clinic to get some treatment for her mild burns. I found out about these things not from Noy but from the kids. When the children got older, surrogate Noy required them to call or text him as soon as they got home. Noy entered politics in 1998. During his first political run as congressman of Tarlac's 2nd District, Noy was relatively unknown. He was also quite shy for a politician. Noy went campaigning in his district's 4 areas, Tarlac City, Gerona, San Jose, and Victoria, while Mom and the rest of us split up and went house-to-house campaigning in separate areas. On election day, we voted early and waited for the precincts to close and monitor the counting. I was assigned in Gerona in those days of slow manual counting. I think it took about a week to finish the Gerona count, and then the ballots were moved to the Capitolio for the next tabulation. After Noy won, I told him, "Isang lifetime ang utang mo sa akin dahil sa lahat ng pagod ko sa pagkampanya." Tuwang-tuwa ang mga boss niya sa Tarlac kaya hindi na kami kinailangan mangampanya nung ikalawa at ikatlong termino niya. Malaking-malaki ang lamang niya sa mga katunggali niya. Just like Dad, Noy was born to be in public service. In 2007, he ran for the Senate. This was a tough battle since this was a midterm election and he was in the opposition. I could only do weekend campaigning as I had work in the private sector. I remember I took a leave from work for the final 3 weeks of the campaign as I wanted to do all I could to help him win. There cannot be any regrets. Nung nanalo siya sa pagkasenador, sabi ko sa kanya, "Naku, may dagdag na 2 lifetime pa ang utang mo sa akin." Nung Marso 2008, nalaman naming may stage 4 cancer ang mom. Sobra kaming nalungkot, kinabahan at dinaan namin ang problema sa dasal. Naalala ko nung mga panahon na iyon, may mga ads na sa TV yung mga tatakbo sa pagkapangulo. Naisip ko na sobrang stress ang aabuti nila. Salamat na lang at sa 2013 pa ang pagtapos ng termino ni Noy, pwede kaming mag-focus lahat sa pag-alaga sa mom. When Mom left us in 2009, suddenly people were looking at Noy to run for the presidency. I remember Ate attended one of those meetings where Noy was being pressured to run, and she heard Noy ask the group, "Wala na bang ibang option?" Ate said she looked at his face and awang-awa siya kay Noy. 2.5 years after Dad was killed, Mom was being pressured to run. We begged her not to run as we feared losing our remaining parent. Mom told us she had made the decision to run and she would never be able to forgive herself if there was something she could have done to help the country and did not do it. What else could we counter that with? It was Mom's destiny to be the Philippines' 11th president. This time we had just lost Mom and we were hoping to grieve quietly and privately. We tried our best to convince Noy not to run, but just like Mom, his mind was made up. Noy was a man for others, a born public servant. He must have felt he could do something to make our country better. Just like Mom, he could not turn his back too. So, 40 days after Mom passed on, we started working on a national campaign, this time without our rock, Mom. In about 8 months, from being a non-candidate, Noy became the 15th President of the Philippines. Destiny all over again. I look back at Noy's 6 years and I tell myself the job of a good president is almost inhuman. There would be multiple problems daily, always affecting so many of our countrymen. Typhoons, earthquakes, viruses, sieges, and many more. In Noy's case, he took everything very seriously. When Bohol had a strong earthquake, he was there to comfort the victims and to monitor the rescue and relief efforts. He slept in a tent since there were several aftershocks. When there was a siege in Zamboanga, he spent several nights in a camp there. He felt that if he was in the area, movement would be quicker. If there was a typhoon, he needed to be updated 24/7 so that he could ensure that relief goods would immediately be sent. He wanted to be constantly informed and he did his homework. Sa naaalala ko, ang bakasyon ni Pinoy sa bawat taon na Pangulo siya ay mula December 28 hanggang January 1. Pupunta lamang siya sa Rizal Day celebration ng December 30. Kadalasan sa Baguio ang punta niya. Babalik siya sa bahay pangarap sa hapon ng January 1. Kung may biyahe siya sa ibang bansa, dapat walang araw na inaaksaya, walang side trips. Sabi niya, pera ng bayan ang ginagamit kaya hindi pwede siyang sayangin. During difficult moments, you would text and ask him, "Kumusta ka na?" And his answer would always be, "Okay ako." We knew he said that because he just didn't want us to worry. How lucky Pinoy's successor for the state of the Philippines he passed on, so different from the sad state he inherited. It is no secret how some current government officials praised Pinoy for the good things they inherited. To date, Pinoy has the highest average GDP in recent history, and the Philippines was Asia's rising tiger during his term. When Noy got sick, he would ask some of his doctors not to tell us everything. Again, he didn't want us to worry. How could we not know what was happening? Maybe now Noy knows we did get the reports and updates, and how during his final months we tried to look okay in front of him, but desperately sought support from one another when our world was crushing. Noy, nasabi ko sa iyo na madami kang utang sa akin dahil sa lahat ng pagkampanya, hirap at pagod ko para sa iyo. Noy, nung natapos ang termino mo bilang Pangulo, binura ko na iyang utang mo sa akin. Nakita ko kung paano mo binigay ang lahat ng kaya mo para umunlad ang ating bansa at gumanda ang buhay ng mga boss mo. Bayad na bayad ka na at may sobra pa nga. Nung pinayagan na kaming pumasok sa ER ng Capitol Medical Center para magpaalam sa iyo, gulong-gulong utak ko noon. Naghalo sobrang lungkot at gulat. Pero nung nakita ko ang mukha mo, para ka lang natutulog ng mahimbing. Ginusto mo kaming iwan ng tulog ang karamihan. Hanggang sa dulo, ayaw mong mang-abala ng tao. Noy, it has been 40 days since you left us. I miss you so much. When I see food that you like in the supermarket, I get the item and then it dawns on me that you wouldn't need it anymore. Honestly, we all miss you and we are just putting up a brave front. Somehow visiting you at Manila Memorial brings a little comfort as I imagine you, Dad, and Mom enjoying each other's company and our parents being immensely proud of all that you have accomplished. Noy, I cannot say this enough. Salamat. Salamat sa ipinakita mong pagmamahal, pagkalinga at proteksyong ibinigay mo sa iyong pamilya hanggang sa iyong huling hininga. Salamat sa malasakit na ipinaramdam mo, hindi lang para sa mga nakapaligid sa iyo, kundi sa napakarami pang tao. Salamat para sa lahat ng isinakripisyo mo at ininda mo para sa iyong mga boss. Salamat dahil ikaw ang nagpatotoo, gaya ng Mom at Dad. Naniwala kang the Filipino is worth dying for, the Filipino is worth living for, and the Filipino is definitely worth fighting for. Noy, be assured that from here on, all of us who cherish you carry on with the peace of your loving memory, the dignity of your solid spirit, and the example of your life that was meaningful and truly well lived, in service not of oneself, but of the other. Noy, I am truly beyond proud of you. I love you, and I thank the Lord for the great blessing of having had you in our lives. Na minsan may isang Noynoy Aquino na nagpakita sa ating lahat kung paano maging mabuting tao, isang mabuting Pilipino. Please embrace Mom and Dad for all of us.
This is my quest to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. One man sore and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage